Peace and love, everybody. What's good? I got a little interesting discussion that I wanted to get into. And I've actually been meaning to speak about this for a little bit. But initially, I would say it had quite a different element to it. There was a entirely different undercurrent to this particular subject. It had a kind of a different focus and connotation to it in the outset of what I wanted to discuss. But it kind of took a turn once I started seeing the development that's been taking place for the last couple of weeks. This particular subject and topic are going to focus on the King Derek James. Okay, in the midst of all of the vibes that we're seeing of Ryan Garcia. Okay, so I want to speak about that. Derek James, in the midst of all this kind of craziness that has been showing up among, this entire bout setup, anticipation of the Devin Haney-Ryan Garcia fight. Now, Derek James, okay, phenomenal trainer, mentor, mind, teacher. Okay, he's an upright man, and he is hands down one of my favorite trainers in the entire sport. He's definitely my number one. I respect his prowess, his eye, his style, and his wisdom. Okay, this man held on to a championship stable for 6 consecutive years, with Earl Spence Jr. being, of course, the unified welterweight champion from 2017 to 2023, and also Jamel Charlo becoming undisputed junior middleweight champ, and he held on to that from, I want to say, 22 to 23. So this man is no slouch. He's every bit the GOAT, and definitely walking strong in a sense of legacy for what he's done and what he continues to do, as I guess we will see in this coming few months. Okay, he was named Trainer of the Year multiple times between 2017 and 2023. Okay, so this man is no doubt a powerhouse. Okay, I have to stress that. Derek James is a powerhouse, and he is one of the best of this generation. Okay, his legacy, as far as I'm concerned, is thoroughly planted in greatness, and I am hopeful that he will realign his success streak once again at some point this year. However, I must say that it is because of this high esteem and prestige and distinction that he holds and assumes that I have the particular thoughts that I have regarding Ryan Garcia. Okay, now when it comes to this, I get all types of emo. Let's just call that what it is. I definitely get emo thinking about this because, as you can tell, and as I've stated, I don't play about Derek James. I really, really rocks with him, and I salute the king. Okay. So I got to be honest that when it was publicized that Ryan was going to be joining the world-class boxing gym in Dallas last year, I was not enthused. Let's just put it that way. I was not enthused at all, even during that time. Okay. Something about it just didn't sit right with me, y'all. I didn't have a particular beef with Ryan, but I did surmise a sense of childishness of character from him. Okay, though I did consider him kind of a bright prospect of a fighter. I had been following him. I was, of course, very familiar with him, just like everyone else was. And they're toting him up as the, golden boy. And he was making his little strides and, coming more into the limelight and solidifying more of an image. And I was riding with the journey. as he was developing and climbing during those earlier years. He had amassed attention. We got to see him kind of bounce back from a challenge when he was in a fight with Campbell. So he kind of showed a little bit of grit and tenacity and durability, which was interesting to see him in that fight. And he was beginning to call out at that time the likes of Tank and Devin at that point. So, I was rocking with it. Overall, I would say I had a clear view of him, and it was kind of a neutral take on him. I liked him, but I wasn't yet sure all that he can do, even though so far what he had shown, I was beginning to like what I saw. Okay. Yet when it was official that he was going to the world-class stable, I didn't like it. I just didn't, something was breathing under there for me, under the surface, that I just was like, you going to D James? Like, you know what I mean? He had the fallout with his stable over at Canelo's gym. And he said, he kind of, after the Tank fight, I heard that he ran over to Dallas to speak with Derek. And I guess he had been admiring Derek from afar up until that particular point, and just, went over there and made it official and just said that he really wanted to train him. And Derek kind of, saw, I guess, the potential, and they made it happen. But what I didn't like, in addition to that, was that only a few months prior to Ryan running over to Dallas, AJ had joined the gym. Okay. And quite honestly, at that juncture, I felt that was all that D James needed to take on. I didn't think he needed to acquire any more bodies, even though I have heard him say previously in interviews that 5 would be his absolute max. So at that point, he had, of course, EJ, he had Jamel, he had Frank, and then AJ joined. I was like, 4, bang. You don't even got to get to your max 5. Let's just hit it 4, and then you kind of smooth sailing from there. Okay. AJ was a wonderful addition to the crew, in my view. He loved and respected Derek James so greatly. He glowed over Derek James, and they had a lovely budding friendship. And then AJ was also seemingly really solidifying a close-knit relationship with Frank and EJ, which was beautiful to see, that type of brotherhood. And it was just nice. It was very nice to see that type of camaraderie between them that was budding and building for them. I couldn't help but think, what a beautiful, beautiful group of young, talented, beautiful Black men, ranging in all weights, and they got the heavyweight added to the stable. It was just bomb to me. I was all for it. Then enters Ryan Garcia, who, honestly didn't seem to blend into the vibe as far as his style. He kind of felt like Bambi to me, wobbling on his legs as far as his pedigree. Okay, he still seemed very early in his development, even though he had experience and had been boxing. He's not new to boxing, but he just had a sense of, novice energy on him, like needing to have his hand held to cross the street, so to speak. That was the energy that I was getting. And he just seemed, like a baby compared to that of the other men as far as pedigree and energy, and overall development and prowess. Now, that's that bit of history. So now let's get moving into all that's been unfolding. Okay, so now that we're on the brink of this Devin Haney-Ryan Garcia fight, I have even bigger reservations, objections, and protests about Ryan in this stable. Like, he's weird. He's got no swag. He's a damn chatty patty. And now the motherfucker is toting around like he's Nostradamus or something. Talk about he knows who murked Tupac and when Atlantis went underwater and the Dogon are heathens. Boy, if you don't go sit your ass down somewhere, I seriously want to start a boycott union for Derek James. He needs help. He needs help to get this damn boy out of here. What is going on? It's just crazy. The charades, the antics, real talk. I don't like Derek James associated with that type of banter and outlandishness, because Derek James is a man who is refined. He's a man who is calm, poised, and laid back. He is not about the fanfare or the folly at all. We know that about James, okay? So all of the recent antics as of late are, to me, cramping his style and also dampening the prestige of the world-class gym. I got to keep it a buck about that. That's my observation of it. Derek looked super uncomfortable during their last two press conferences, but particularly in the last one in LA, where Ryan's father is calling people's hair nappy, and it was just run amok. It was run amok. Derek is a man who likes to do his job. Okay? He likes to do his job. He likes to do it well. And he likes to get back to the lab to continue to build with his men. Okay? He's a general. He doesn't play those games. And Ryan, he just doesn't possess that sense of soundness to me. He has an air of immaturity that is too all over the place. He reminds me of, one of those badass kids that the babysitter's got to get a hold of. And real talk, I feel like he's being babysat right now by Derek James. I know I'm just an onlooker. I'm not, with all the intel of what goes on. I'm not there day in and day out to see what that's like. But that's what it feels like to me, that he is babysitting Ryan Garcia. I hate to put it in those terms, but that's my sentiment right now. He's just scattered and running wild. He's running wild. It's crazy to me. And, D. James is a master teacher. Perhaps at some particular point as they build, he can provide a level of discipline to this young man, maybe to tame him, to, level him out a bit and ground him in some sense of purpose. I definitely believe in Derek James's tutelage, and I think that it can certainly be done because he is a man of that particular stature. But on the basis that Ryan is ready to show that range of maturity and dedication, which is absolutely in question right now, as far as the antics are concerned, for me personally. Okay. If we look at it, Devin has amassed the kind of success that he has because he is focused, highly structured, and methodical. Even for a man of his young age, he shows a commitment and a tact that cannot be sidestepped. Call it what you will. Devin is an absolute beast. In and out of the ring, business-wise, fighter-wise, he is on it. And as far, when I think about it as their bout is concerned, I think that this aspect in and of itself is what will stand to prove a major factor and a distinctive trait that will show the levels between Ryan and Devin. That in and of itself, that level of control and focus and discipline will play out before our eyes when they are in that ring on April 20th. What'll also be interesting, I think, to see is the dynamic between Derek James and Ryan while the fight is on in real time. Okay, so we've seen so far in their first fight together, that last fight that they had, which was their first fight, we saw a Ryan that wasn't so readily attuned to the command of Derek James. Facts or no facts? He was not in the outset of the fight. He was not solidified completely with Derek James. He was not aligned fully to the direction that James was giving. Okay, we saw that terrible taco shell, in full force. And it was not until Derek James literally yelled at him to stop doing that. Okay, he had to yell at him, stop doing that, when he got back to the corner. What are you doing? Stop doing that. Had to shake him up and get his mind back focused again. It wasn't until that moment that we saw Ryan return to some sense of normalcy and begin to take a little bit better command in that fight, And that really has me wondering about their trust level in their second fight together, which is what's going to be with Devin Haney. What is their trust level going to look like? Will Ryan be malleable, compliant to Derek James in the heat of this battle? Did he learn his lesson from the first one? Will he be open to making the adjustments necessary as they're being called to him in this upcoming fight? Will he be hard-headed again and try to show off? There's a lot of questions going on in my mind concerning what we will see as far as James and Ryan's dynamic together. Have the lessons been learned from their previous and initial fight together? Okay. He already posted on social media that he's going straight after Devin. The motherfucker said that he's going to be on his Mike Tyson shit and fuck around and bite ears off. Like, what? It's insane. Now, for us who know Derek James and who rock with Derek James, we know off top that he would never in his life give any such direction to his elite men. He would never say, yeah, go ahead, go charge forward now, you're here. That's all right with me. Like, it's absolutely crazy to the fact that Ryan would even insinuate, that he's just going to charge forward and start biting ears and elbows and goddamn eyebrows and eyelashes off. Like, what? I'm over it. I'm really just over it. Okay. And Devin himself alluded, if you guys recall, to the fact that Ryan is undisciplined at one of the press conferences. He's like, yeah, Derek James, this motherfucker is not disciplined. He called to Derek James and was like, Derek knows this to be a fact that boy is undisciplined. D. James kind of just laughed it off, but it really has one thinking what is really good, especially seeing, Ryan's carelessness and recklessness over the past few weeks. It's bizarre, and it definitely comes with many, 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 many questions. And this is yet another reason why I'm not feeling him at the world-class boxing gym. This young man is just proving to be an absolute mess so far. And I'd hate to see the accolades and the credibility of the great Derek James, decrease and dwindle because of Ryan's sloppiness and recklessness. But we'll see what unfolds. We'll definitely see what unfolds. I'm kind of torn as well because, I don't want Derek James to take another hit, another loss. But, and I'd hate to condone this. But you know what? Real talk, if Ryan loses, when Ryan loses, which I definitely, have a high probability on that he will lose. I can't even consider that a Derek James loss at this point. I think Ryan's just going to have to take that L and carry that L by himself. I won't accredit the L to Derek James because Ryan is just on a whole nother, he's in a whole nother ballpark. I won't consider this L a Derek James L, in my opinion. Right. This is all on Ryan. This is on him. Let him carry that L, back to his locker room and deal with it and deal with the pressure of that. Let him answer to it as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I'm in a torn position with this link up, and I feel crazy for D. James. He seems to be handling it well. I don't see any complaints. Maybe he's just trying to, get through it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on, but I guess we'll see what unfolds. We will see what unfolds, you guys. Anyway, I'm on to the next. Peace, y'all.